thought I had it shared already. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Yeah, no,
I'll,
take it away for sure.
I'll go ahead and put it over here. So this right here, so this is MetaTrader. I use MetaTrader for obviously to trade, and I I currently I have a this is FX Choice. This is my live account here. But I have USDJPY up here, and I've been looking at this pair, and I've noticed how it right now it's at a very key point in the market. If you look at it here from the place that it's at, the point that it's at, because it's currently right here. I think that's right in the 105.2 area. It hasn't breached that level, and that's about 2016 here. Let's see. So yeah, since about November 6th of 2016, it hasn't breached this level, and you can see how, and this is the weekly time frame, so you can see these are definitely a lot bigger moves. But last time it was at this level here, it had, went for a bullish move. That's about 900 pips there, move to the upside, and you can see that there is definitely some interest at these levels, whether it's through the sellers. You can see how it's a definitely a emotional support or resistance depending on which side of the market that it's on. But as you can see, we are now again hitting that level, and after some strong seller movement here, we're starting to now see a reaction. Same thing here at this level, something that has started to slow these sellers down. If you look at it, now on the daily time frame, you can see how really these buyers are starting to make a comeback in the market. We're starting to see some strong pushes here at this level and some good reaction. Even right now, we're live in the market today, and it's Sunday, and we're already seeing some good movement because the daily candlestick, it had gapped down over the weekend, and we're starting to see some strong buyer interest here to the upside. And again, breaking it down here to the 4-hour, we're seeing that strong seller push down, right? But now we're starting to see them slow down. Here, we see some good buyer interest. We can see how from this move to the downside, it had a strong push here, so it just about covered that move. And then we see some slow movement to the downside, some good reaction here, and boom, we see the buyers pop it right back up. What took the sellers this move to the downside, the buyers made up just like that. And we see that these sellers are starting to not being able to cover 100% of the buyers' previous moves. So as you see here, as the buyers and sellers are battling out to see what's going to happen, we can see the story that they're telling us. So here with USDJPY, we can see these key levels of support and resistance. So we can kind of make out what levels to aim for when we enter the market, and also uh, it kind of gives us a good idea of where we should place our stop losses as well when we look for entry. And I'm gonna get into a little bit more about some key things we've been using to get our entries a little bit tighter and a little more effective. But overall, I've been seeing some good movement here with USDJPY to the upside. It's been showing some good potential. We could potentially still see a retest, or we can even aim for these levels right up here. But generally, I am bullish in this USD JPY pair for the week. And overall, so if you guys can hop on one of the things that I do is I hop on the trade ringer whenever I'm if I'm bullish on this pair, the trade ringer is a good thing when it's giving you those wedge alerts. If you're looking bullish and the trade ringer is telling you that it's, in a bullish wedge, you can take, you can obviously assess the market on the 15-minute chart and really see what's been going on in the last few minutes, if there's been some good activity, and also if that pair is active during that session as well. But that's my overview on USD/JPY. I'll go over pound USD next. And this was a pair that I had got excited about last week because also if we look at this here as well on the monthly time frame, pound USD is at a low point. It has never been lower from the history. This goes back to 1995. And from that history, it has never been lower than the point that it is at right now. Previously, when it hit that low point where it's currently retesting, let me see, that is October of 2016. So it took 2 years for it to go up and back down to that point, or we're 3 years, I'm sorry, because we're in 2019. And you can see how it got a hard stop right at this level. And this is the monthly chart. So just that 1 month, that momentum down was about just about 470 pips in a month. That's some good movement to just get to a hard stop there. So we're seeing some reaction at this level as well. So, we can mark that as a very heavy level of support. So we can see some good activity there. We know it's a strong point in the market. And breaking it down to the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour. So here we're really just, once we see where the market is going and we let it tell us, like I said previously, what's going on, we can start to look, I should say, for entry. And these trades here are very special because, not too long ago, this was August 10th, probably, it has just started that reversal process, right? Because this is a 4 hour. It's been coming down. It's been bearish overall for, the last year or so. And here it's finally come to a hard stop. We know it's at a strong point in the market because the last time it was at this point was 2 years ago, and we're starting to see a reversal happen. So as far as, of course, what the market story is telling us. So on this 4 hour chart, we see these sellers coming through, and they're breaking this point of resistance here. So these guys are trying to, of course, sell this price down. So we can see once it passes those levels, we start to get some reaction here from the buyers. So from the buyers, we can see that they're starting from making these little moves here. They're starting to make some bigger moves. And not only that, we're starting to see that the sellers are now slowing down. And then we see some more movement here by the buyers. The sellers come down. Now they're not even covering 100% of the buyers. And this is, of course, on a small level because this is the 4 hour, but this gets us closer to finding our entry and finding that pivotal point to where you want it to trade to make, of course, a profitable trade. So here the buyers are still showing some power, and now they're at this key point. And so the market just opened today again for the week. And so we're going to watch this pair and see what's going to happen. My overall look is that it's starting to gain some more buyer momentum. And, we can keep watching it and break it down to the 1 hour and then to make that entry. But overall, as you break it down chart by chart, you can see these moves that the buyers are making. The sellers are making, it takes this much time to go ahead and make that move to the downside, and the buyers just pop it up. Sellers come down, the buyers pop it up. I mean, you got to follow the money. And these candlesticks are receipts of what the transactions that are happening in the markets. So that's my judgment there on pound USD. I've also been looking at USD Swiss franc. So with this pair, I've been bearish. Um, I was watching it here on the weekly time frame. I noticed that for some time, let's see, since about February 11th, 2018. So let's see, that's a little over a year, just about a year and a half. It's been on this trend line here. It's been on this bullish trend line, and you can see this is the weekly time frame. So you can see these are, of course, strong moves, and there's a lot of pips worth of movement here. There's a lot of volatility, and I can also see that right up here there was this line of resistance. There was this. I mean, sorry. There was this resistance level that it hasn't been able to break that level in the market for some time. So that's just about as far as you can see. So, going back to 2010, it hasn't been able to breach this level up here, but it's been having some good movement. It's been having some good buyer's interest. And it's, on the better half of a year, it's been going to the upside, and it's been keeping on this trend, on an uptrend, of course, making higher lows. So up until it came to this level, which of course you can see, it has previously always had some good reaction at that level. It's a resistance level, and it's a strong one, as it has been backed, years over years. So you can see there's some strong movement. And of course, now that trend line has broken, so I've been basically following it to see as much as I can. As much as the market tells me that it's going to keep going to the downside, I will keep following it there. So you can look for entries in this pair as well to the downside. Of course, you just want to follow the support and resistance levels. That's pretty much the way I trade. I'm a support and resistance trader. I like to just use naked charts, and I basically just look for key emotional points in the market. So that's kind of how I'm explaining it today. And let me see here. Okay, so breaking it down here on the daily chart, of course, after breaking it down, bit piece by piece, you can see that after it had, these bullish moves to the upside, and, these sellers really were not there. They were not able to cover 100% moves, and the buyers were winning time after time. But of course, they came up to this level here, which they tested here quite a bit, but of course these sellers ended up coming back in, and started to make a presence in the market. So they're making some strong moves. We know this is a good support level, and we can see some strong seller reaction there. After that, we start to see these buyers start to slow down. Before, they would make a push down, and the buyers would pop it right back up. But now we're starting to see the sellers jump in and bring it straight down. And now the buyers are losing that power to bring it either at least to break even or make it further. Give me just a moment. I have to plug in my laptop.
Yeah, no worries. Dang, so this is YouTube. YouTube. Man, this is crazy. Net spring. What's going on?
Excuse me,
Okay. No, you're good. You're good.
guys.
I gotta check those. I gotta check those. I gotta check the lasagna. But yeah, man, you're spitting some fire for sure. I just so you guys know, it's gonna be recorded. It's actually recorded. So, what we'll do is we'll keep a evening call, and we'll maybe incorporate a morning call, possibly, just depending on the different time zones that everyone's in. But yeah, Mike, I mean, keep spitting. That price action talk for sure. I like it.
For sure, for sure. Well, so back to the sellers starting to come in and show their presence and show their interest. Um, they're now creating bigger moves. They're now creating lower lows. From creating higher lows, we're now creating lower lows, and we're also creating lower highs as well. Um, so there's some support right here in this area. I've been watching it for a while, so you can also see, you also want to know where the levels of support are in the market. But I know that it can travel down to that point to retest it or to ultimately break through. So with this pair, I would just say be careful and be mindful of that level right there, which is the 0.9717, because that is a strong level of resistance as well, as it has held on the daily. But as you break it down by time frame, you can still see that there is some strong seller interest here. So as far as I've seen, as long as on the 4 hour it's above this guy right over here, it's still in seller's territory. So, this guy has brought it down. He's created a lower low. He's held that level. This guy has come in, the buyer came in and he tried to break this previous, this previous lower low, and he failed to do so. And we can see some strong seller interest there. And so the market, it did gap to the downside, and we have seen some strong levels there, but there's still some room. And we can also see how it reacts at this level down here to ultimately see if maybe, we can even, if we see some strong buyer interest, we can even see if we can trade it up to that previous seller here. Just be mindful, as long as it's under here, it is in seller's territory. But ultimately, you should follow what price action is telling you. So if we continue to see some buyer momentum, we can be mindful that we probably shouldn't enter at that time. But you can see that movement on the 1 hour. Boom, this guy has brought it down from this guy making this movement to him just powering right through him in a few hours. Now there's some buyers coming in, but ultimately they have not been able to make any sort of movement like that. So overall, I am bearish on this pair here. Here on USDCAD, this has also been one that I've been watching as it has been, it's been at a strong level of resistance right up in this area. But also on the 4 hour currently, it has made this triple top here. You can see I kind of did a bullish trend line here, and you can see how the market has been reacting, and the buyers have been in, but they've also been squeezing right at this line here, and every time they move, they're not able to come, and they're also just squeezing right up here. The sellers are getting weaker and weaker, and the sellers are starting to, or I'm sorry, the buyers are getting weaker and weaker, and the sellers are starting to make a presence in the market with starting to now cover 100% movements of this buyer. right here. So we can see the buyer, he pops it up, and previously, he would make a good move, and the sellers weren't able to cover that whole move. So here he popped it up, the sellers failed to make 100% retracement. Um, now the buyers make another run, and this time it's not as strong as previously, and the sellers went ahead and covered 100% of that retracement level there. So now we can see that how price has been squeezing right in here. And if we break it down time frame by time frame, we can see who's been making the moves in the market, who has the money at that point. So we can see it's failed time and time again. Now we want to wait and see when would be a good time to get an entry on this, which is when you can look at those wait for those trade ring alerts. Last week I tested this method, and I did my analyst. I tested 4 pairs or 3 pairs as well. I tested USD Swiss franc, which I went over, in USD CAD, and on both of them, I got alerts on the 4-hour. On all of them, I got alerts on the 4-hour when these moves were happening right in here, and I got those alerts right in here each time. And if you're a scalper, if you're a day trader and you just want to get in and out of the market, you can capitalize on just, if you know that these points are in the market, you can just capitalize on catching 10, 20 pips with the tight stop loss. You can definitely capitalize on those entries there. But I think
Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think
That's freaking crazy.
That's the 4 pairs I wanted to go over. But that's kind of my outlook on them. And that's just a little bit about how I break down the charts, and how I kind of follow them. Because the best thing that you can do is be patient with the market and just let it tell you what it's going to do and when it's going to do it. Because I know that this pair is, I may know that this pair is bearish, or I may know that a pair is bullish, but you want to get in at a key turning point, because that's where you're going to get your money's worth. If you enter here, if you enter here and it ends up coming down, but then it ends up coming back up, now you're at a loss, and then ultimately it might end up going down, but you're not at a good position as you could have been if you waited for the market to tell you that, okay, now we're slowing down, and we're at a key point, and now we're going to it's going to be a good time to enter the market. And it'll tell you, if you break it down into the 15-minute chart, it'll show you it's 15, every candlestick is 15 minutes. So it shows you in real time, what's been happening in, the last, let's see, if you're looking at it today, this right here is the 15-minute chart. Just looking at this movement, that's just about a day's worth of, because this is from the August 21st. So if you give about half of Thursday, the market closes 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then reopens Sunday at 2 p.m. Standard Pacific Time. It's really not that much time of movement, so you can see what's been happening. But definitely 15-minute is where you want